What will we do with this moment? How will we be remembered? Look at the opportunities before us.
This election really isn't about the left versus the right. It's about we the people choosing our government and the choice between freedom versus tyranny.
Nobody has a chronic disease burden like we have. Why are we allowing this to happen to our children? Ultimately, the only thing that will save our country is if we choose to love our kids more than we hate each other.
What is going on here is deeper than politics. It is deeply spiritual. We are being called to rise above the hatred and the fear and the evil.
We need to remember above and beyond that we must love our neighbors, that we must treat other people as we hope to be treated.
You want to be a rebel? You want to be a hippie? You want to stick it to the man? Show up on your college campus and try calling yourself a conservative.
America is going to reach heights that it has never seen before. The future is going to be amazing!
You want healthy children. Don't you want a president that's going to make America healthy again?
Come to you today as a former Democrat. I will be a first-time Trump voter tonight.
The people dreamed this country, and it's the people who are making America great again.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
CNN analyzed the proposed budgets of 20 federal agencies. HHS, for example, requested $113 million in its budget for training for diversity in the health workforce. And the Department of Defense asked for $50 million to fund DEI-related activities. That amount accounts for just 0.006% of the department's total budget request, according to a spokesperson. The Biden administration expanded DEI protections to a broader group of Americans, including women, rural communities, military spouses, and caregivers.
What diversity, equity, and inclusion programs do is open opportunities to qualified, deserving people who worked hard. It's not about dictating hiring decisions or filling quotas.
And while we don't know exactly how many of these federal employees will be impacted by today's actions, what we can say is that the actions that we are seeing by the Trump administration here to roll back all DEI will certainly reverberate into communities throughout the country when you talk about taking away grants and policy programs that benefit many of these underserved communities.
I'm sorry. Maybe I'm jaded. You know, I worked for myself for quite some time. I'm black. Where are these so-called underperforming, undeserving communities, whatever she said? Where are they? And then the second question I have is, why are they that way? What made them that way? It's 2025. 2025. And you're still saying that you have these problems in these communities? Why? You know, let me hear her say this one more time, because it really gets to me when I hear this crap.
Trump administration here to roll back all DEI will certainly reverberate into communities throughout the country when you talk about taking away grants and policy programs that benefit many of these underserved communities. One other note on this issue.
Underserved communities. That's the word she used. Underserved. Why are there still in 2025 underserved communities? What are these communities lacking in 2025 with billions of dollars being spent in these, I assume, underserved, which he really means is inner city communities? Why they're still underserved communities? The Democrats, in association with the media, like to throw out phrases like that, and people don't question them. I want to know, where are these underserved communities, and why are they still underserved? Why is it that I can go and you can go to basically anywhere in your area, and every single one of you knows where the ghetto is? Everybody knows where the ghetto is in any particular city. Oh, it's over there. It's down there. And turn left. Why is that? Why is it that that area of town that we all know is like that and is still like that in 2025? Kamala Harris spent $1.5 billion on her campaign. $1.5 billion. So my question is, if you could raise that kind of money and you've taken taxes out the wazoo, because you got to have that fair share, why are there still underserved communities? Let me proffer a guess, because you need them to be underserved communities. You need them to be where, the people need to have the government. Daddy government is needed in those areas. Because without daddy government, these people wouldn't be voting for you. If they didn't get the food stamps and the bus pass and the free internet and everything else, and they actually had the money to pay for that themselves, they don't need you. And that's one of the things that Trump is trying to foster, is tell everybody, let's make America rich again. Now, it's not that everybody is going to be rich. We all know everybody's not going to be rich, but at the same time, I doubt there needs to be many people living and surviving in, quote, underserved communities. To me, that's an absolute crock, and that's coming from a black guy. So I ain't buying it. Let's finish off this little segment
of them asking for call-outs for people within these agencies who may have information on federal employees who may have been disguising certain DEI initiatives. We should note CNN reported just last week that there were federal employees within these agencies working to quietly edit job descriptions and policy descriptions because they feared this very day would come, Wolf.
Did you just hear what she said? Let me know in the chat if I need to play that again. That woman on a nationally televised news broadcast, just said that she reported, or somebody in CNN reported, that people in the government last week before Trump took over were editing job descriptions and faking who was and who wasn't part of the DEI so they wouldn't be caught. So what you're saying is, in addition to everything else, the government, as we know it, is full of fraud. These people are scum. They're liars. They're faking job descriptions so you can't tell what they don't do, because they don't do anything. But at least they're not doing it for DEI anymore. I change the water bottle in the cooler. That's my job. I do that like once a month. How do you do it? I tell somebody to come in. She just reported. You just heard her. I didn't say it. She said they are editing job descriptions so they don't get caught. That's your tax dollars at work. People freeloading and now terrified that they've been found out. Well, as I look at my watch here, it's 8:42, which means at 5 o'clock, a whole bunch of people no longer work for the government. So I'm going to go through, before Sean Hannity starts, I got a rapid fire bunch of stuff I want to go through. And I'm amazed. I just have to say thank you very much. I didn't know, figured I would do this show about Sean Hannity's interview. And I had no idea we'd have 8, 9, 10,000 people show up tonight when it's freely watched on television. So thank you for that. But I should have known for sure, because after Monica Page showed up on our show earlier, this woman just received an additional like 2,500, let me refresh. Yeah, almost 2,600 new Twitter followers, ex-followers. So thank you. I'll say thank you for her in case she hasn't seen it. You guys rock. You guys absolutely rock. And it just shows what kind of family we got going on here. So Trump was busy tonight. Let's see what Trump had to say. This was rumored. People knew it was coming, but it finally did drop. It is my great honor to appoint Sean Kern as the next director of the United States Secret Service. Sean is a great patriot who has protected my family over the past few years, and that is why I trust him to lead the brave men and women of the United States Secret Service. Sean has 23 years of law enforcement experience, starting his career in the Secret Service in 2001 as a special agent in the Newark field office, where he conducted protection, intelligence, investigations, recruitment, and logistics support for the district. During my first term, Sean served as the Assistant Special Agent in charge of the Presidential Protective Division, with direct oversight and responsibility of multiple protectees and enhanced security plans for my residences. Sean has distinguished himself as a brilliant leader who is capable of directing and leading operational security plans for some of the most complex special security events in the history of our country and the world. He proved his fearless courage when he risked his own life to help save mine from an assassin's bullet in Butler, Pennsylvania. I have complete and total confidence in Sean to make the United States Secret Service stronger than ever before. Thank you, Sean, and congratulations. Now, obviously, with him saying that, then we also know that Dan Bongino didn't get the job. And it seems as though Dan Bongino is not happy with Trump's selection. Dan posted this earlier. Don't blame me, I tried. Well. That's all he said. Don't blame me, I tried. So, I don't know. I guess Dan might not be happy with who he chose. Not sure. But it doesn't seem like it does. It seems like he's got an issue with it. I'll let Dan explain. He's a big boy, big audience. I'm sure he'll come out with it. So, I want you to know that you don't hate the media enough. You just saw that section. I'm gonna play a bunch of more video for you while we're waiting for this show to come on. And I want you to see this article. You're not going to believe it's real. Libs of TikTok put it up. Said, I can't believe this is real. The New York Times wants us to have empathy for the foreign drug cartels and terrorists who are responsible for the deaths of thousands of Americans. This is an actual headline on the New York Times. How labeling cartels could hurt the United States economy. Isolating U.S. companies from cartel activities could be almost impossible, given that the criminal groups operate in sectors like agriculture and tourism, leaving some American businesses vulnerable to sanctions. An actual headline. How labeling cartels as terrorists could hurt the U.S. economy. These people have no shame. None whatsoever. They obviously would sell you out in a heartbeat. Well, that's okay, because Trump obviously has been paying attention to what they've been doing. And this is what Trump posted. MSDNC, talking about MSNBC, is even worse than CNN. They shouldn't even have a right to broadcast. Boss hit hard there. What's he talking about? Is he finally going to go after these nuts for everything they've been doing? I hope so. And then he had two different appointments tonight. I am pleased to announce that Andrew Puzder will serve as the next United States ambassador to the European Union. Andy is a successful attorney, businessman, economic commentator, and author. In 2000, he was named Chief Executive Officer of CKE Restaurants, which is the parent of restaurant chains Carl's Jr. and Hardee's. During his 17-year tenure as CEO, Andy led the company out of serious financial difficulty, allowing it to survive, become financially secure, and grow. Andy will do an excellent job representing our nation's interests in this important region. Congratulations, Andy. So Andrew Puzder, will be the new ambassador to the European Union. The other appointment, many of you guys may be familiar with this guy. Brent Bozell will serve as the next CEO of the United States Agency for Global Media. As founder and president of the MRC, which you probably see their stuff all the time, Media Research Center, for 38 years, few understand the global media landscape in print, television, and online better than Brent. He and his family have fought for the American principles of liberty, freedom, equality, and justice for generations, and he will ensure that message is heard by freedom-loving people around the world. Brent will bring some much-needed change to the U.S. Agency for Global Media. Congratulations to Brent. I've always liked Brent's stuff. He's pretty good. So let's go back in and listen to more of what news happened today.
It was shocking. I mean, it was shocking what President Biden did on the way out, pardoning his family for more than a decade of whatever activity, any nonviolent offenses. It was breathtaking to us. I don't think that's anything like that's ever been anticipated. And by the way, go look at the tape. 4 years ago, when it was just implied that President Trump might do something similar, they were apoplectic. Joe Biden himself, Adam Schiff, Chuck Schumer, roll the tape. They all said that would be crazy and unconscionable, and now they're cheering it along. To us, it is disgusting. To us, it probably proves the point, the suspicion that, they call it the Biden crime family. If they weren't the crime family, why do they need pardons, right? Look, there's a lot of attention that's going to be paid to this, and I think that is appropriate, and we will be looking at it as well. So, yeah.
Pardon these.
Wow. So what's coming is being telegraphed right now. Mike Johnson and one of the committees in the House, are going to open an investigation into the Biden crime family. But Barry, they all have pardons. Well, that's going to be another thing. When Pam Bondi gets in, I'm sure they're going to go ahead and sue to remove these pardons. No one has ever seen a preemptive pardon. So it's got to be tested. It's got to be brought before the Supreme Court. And honestly, I don't think anything's going to happen to Joe Biden. Why is that? Because he's off his rocker. No court's going to do anything with him. He's 97 and a half years old, and at least they can strip him of whatever pension and everything, just embarrass him, but they're not going to put him in jail. Now his brother and Hunter and the other members of the family, y'all better lawyer up. Even though you got a pardon, you might get ready. You're going to have to get a lawyer. It's going to cost you a lot of that money you stole from these other countries. They're coming for you, deservedly so.
Violent people and releasing them from jail.
If they were truly violent, no, but do I know that they were? I don't know that.
What do you mean you don't know that? We're showing the footage on the air right now. Congressman, you were there that day. There are offenders on January 6th who violently beat police officers. There are offenders who are convicted of seditious conspiracy. That is the truth.
This is a political world, Jim, and I don't remember you all on CNN condemning Joe Biden for commuting the sentences of murderers and child molesters, which...
Oh, Tim Burchett for the win. We had Tim Burchett on the show, and he's a no-nonsense type of guy from Tennessee, and I think he just ended Jim Acosta's career. Which is why, Jim Acosta, you deserve it.
He did, and you all
Congressman, I'm not asking you about that. Congressman, we talked about Joe Biden's pardons.
You never do,
Congressman, we did talk about it. We talked about Joe Biden's pardons.
Oh, Jim, you did not. You all read your report from the Democrat National Committee as you...
He's calling him out to his face. I love it. And Jim Acosta's trying to redirect. Congressman, hey, Jim, it's January 22nd. The election's over. Nobody cares about this January 6th stuff. You're making yourself look stupid.
That is absolutely false. Congressman?
President Trump is using every...
You got to see what's happening with this whole January 6th thing and how they're going to make this all just look stupid for the left. And I love what they're about to do. Lauren Boebert has invited all of the pardoned January 6ers on a guided tour of the U.S. Capitol. Oh, my God. Excuse me. That's a full facial. That is completely epic trolling at its best. We're going to invite them all for a guided tour of the Capitol. How about that? Take that, Democrats. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Not only are they free, but we're going to have a guided tour and let them come over here for lunch. I love that they're hitting back so hard. I love that they're putting it right in their faces at this point. I said it earlier. The men and women of the Republican Party are growing sets of cojones that they are now throwing down against these people, and they're not used to it. I mean, the zone is being flooded. They don't know where to go to stop what's going on. There's so much stuff happening, and these people just can't handle it. Elon Musk posted something earlier today, actually had a double post. He goes, not even one government building was found to be even half occupied. Not one. Not one government building was found to be even half occupied. Then he said, and some government buildings, including in D.C., have been taken over by squatters while taxpayers continue to pay for the upkeep. So buildings that you own as a taxpayer, these are your buildings, and Muriel Bowser and the Capitol Police have let squatters move into these buildings. These are your buildings. You paid for them. No employees are showing up, but you know what? It's awful cold in Washington, bro. So, you know what? You mind if there ain't nobody looking? I'm going to jump in here. Oof, turn up the heat. Well, who's paying for the heat? Oh, yeah, you're paying for that, too. Who's paying for the cleanup when these people squat and poop and do everything else they do? Oh, you're paying for that, too. Well, why don't you just get these people out of this building? Why is there nobody managing this property or this property or this property or half the other properties where these squatters have realized, man, these are some nice digs. I'm about to move up in here. I'm going to have my own office, sit back. I can count my bottles, roll my thing, cut my lines, check out, what I want to sell. I bet you they've stripped stuff off the wall. What did Biden and Kamala do? I just don't know. These people are scum. They're using your money and doing whatever God knows with. In addition, Eric Burlison and Lauren Boebert have introduced a bill to abolish the ATF. This needs to pass as soon as possible. I agree as well. So we're seeing a systematic destruction of these agencies. I'm going to raise my hand and say thank you. That's what we needed. We needed that. And then another one here I want to show you was Trump Effect Day 3. The San Diego law enforcement just executed a major operation against organized crime, arresting 39 individuals linked to the Mexican, I don't know if I can say the word because they spanked me earlier. This operation targeted a wide range of criminal activities, including all that stuff with the suspects taking order from cartel leaders in prison. The crime ring had been terrorizing and extorting local businesses owners, threatened to do stuff to them and their family members if they didn't comply. And all it took was someone willing to go in and stop it. The Biden and Kamala administration just decided this wasn't worth our time. We're not going to look. We're not even going to try. We're just going to, let it go. Why? Why was this intentional destruction of America and that had the complicity of the media? Why was this happening? Someone's going to have to do a deep dive and go, what was the end game here? What were you trying to do to us? Were you trying to turn us into a third world? Was that actually what was going to try to be done here? Because now we're finding out this stuff is easy to fix. It's not like it's hard. Again, not like it's hard. Breaking: Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman tells President Trump that he plans to increase investments in trade in the United States by at least $600 billion over the next 4 years. That's by Reuters. $600 billion. The numbers that Trump is bringing back to this country are astounding. Every time he has a press conference, oh, here's another gazillion, here's 2 or 3 gazillion, and we're just going to keep raising money. We're bringing all these people back here. More and more and more business. Hundreds of billions of dollars. Checks notes. He's been in office 2 days. 2 days. And we're seeing things that Biden and Kamala couldn't even conceive of. And we're seeing billions. Let that sink in.
Lever of his executive power to secure our nation's borders. This is the #1 promise that he made to the American people on the campaign trail. And with this action today and the many actions that he took on day 1 in the Oval Office, he is delivering on that promise. And he is sending a very clear message to the rest of the world. If you are even thinking for a single second about illegally entering our country and breaking the laws of the United States of America, you will face consequences for doing so. You will be returned to your home country, and you will be arrested, and you will be prosecuted as well. One of the actions President Trump took on day 1 is actually empowering the court system to ramp up the prosecutions of illegal criminals who commit crimes here at home. And we are not going to tolerate this in sanctuary cities as well across this country. The only place the United States of America should be a sanctuary for is law-abiding American citizens. That's the new way under this Trump administration. And President Trump will also continue to push Congress to pass border security measures as well to increase funding for Border Patrol and for ICE, for those brave men and women in uniform who have now been finally empowered to do their jobs after 4 long years under the Harris-Biden administration.
Let me ask you, we just heard the contents again of President Biden's letter to President Trump, a very cordial letter asking God to bless the country and his work as he moves forward as the commander-in-chief. I would imagine that's what all of you were expecting to hear a little bit more of at the National Cathedral yesterday. Were you surprised at the tone from Bishop Budde? And did anyone feel that maybe having her speak was going to be a little problematic when everyone walked in there?
It was supposed to be a unifying and bipartisan church service in the beautiful National Cathedral here in Washington, D.C. And I was there with President Trump, and everybody there was shocked and mortified by the disturbing comments from this bishop who chose to weaponize the pulpit. She had an opportunity to pray over the president and the vice president and their families who are sitting in the first pews. And she spoke about truth, which was very ironic because words later she spewed lies. She said that President Trump has called illegal or immigrants criminals. That's not true. He calls illegal immigrants criminals because, in fact, they are criminals by definition. If you break our nation's laws, you are a criminal. She also talked about how LGBTQ people in this country may be disappointed. That's also a lie. In fact, I just saw Scott Bessent in the West Wing of the White House on his way to meet with President Trump, and he is the highest ranking LGBTQ official in United States history appointed by the president in the Oval Office right now. So the comments by that bishop yesterday were egregious, and she should apologize to President Trump for the lies that she told. It's despicable to see that.
I mean, she's all over other channels, sort of taking a victory lap, I guess, on The View. So I don't know if any apology is forthcoming, but it was certainly a very partisan and inappropriate sermon that she gave. It seemed to become all about her rather than all about blessing the president on his way in, as it has always traditionally been. Meantime,
So the thing with that entirety of that sermon, whatever she did, was there is no shortage of videos showing how much of a whack job this woman really was. So the question is, how did they let Trump go to that church? somebody internally dropped the ball. I'm pretty sure Trump said one of y'all dropped the ball. So we're heading into the Hannity show right now. Let's go ahead and take a look.
You stated that you will release the files, all of the files, as it relates to the JFK assassination. The moment you walked back in this office, this desk, this room, your carpet, how'd you feel?
Well, it was a lot of work.
Do you believe that moment, people say to me, they see a change in you? Do you believe you've changed? Is this, for example, increased your faith in God?
Yes.
All these people, the Biden family members, Joe Biden ran and said he would never do preemptive pardons. It was an issue that came up when you were leaving your first time.
He heard that I was going to do it. I didn't want to do it. I was given the option.
And welcome to Hannity, and buckle up for a very special show. After 4 long years, President Donald Trump is back where he belongs. He is in the Oval Office. Earlier, the president, he did welcome us into the White House.
Do me a favor and let me know if the volume is okay. Please let me know if there's if the volume is okay.
Thank you.
Welcome back.
Thank you very much.
Let's talk about the moment you walked back in this office, this desk, this room, your carpet. How'd you feel?
Well, it was a lot of work. And as you know, I felt that we shouldn't have had to necessarily be here. Could have been done, a lot of work. Could have been, it would have been over. We wouldn't have inflation. We wouldn't have had the Afghanistan disaster. We wouldn't have October 7th with Israel, where so many people were killed. And you wouldn't have a Ukraine war going on. But with all that being said, I think it's bigger. It's bigger than if it were more traditional.
Only the second time in history.
Yeah.
Somebody didn't have consecutive terms.
Yeah. Well, they say it's historically bigger. I don't know about that. But I can say it showed us a couple of things. It showed us that the radical left, their philosophies and policies are horrible. They don't work. You look at crime, you look at what's gone on at the border, you look at what's going to happen, the crime that's going to happen. But I think we got there just in the nick of time. But we still have you covered better than anybody. We have terrorists in our country by the thousands. We have murderers in our country by the tens of thousands. We have numbers that came out, 11,000 people that murdered are now free and walking around in our country. And of them, I think 48%, they say, killed more than one person, and they're walking around. They came out of jails from other countries. And, people, they've emptied their jails. I would, if I were the president or prime minister or something of another country, I'd empty my jails right into America, into the United States. Why not? And many of them did it. If you look at Venezuela, their crime rate is down now 78%. Because they took their street gangs and they moved them into the United States. And you're seeing that in Colorado and Los Angeles and other places. And we're going to take care of it.
So did Biden really say to you when you came up to the front of the White House, welcome home?
No, did somebody say that?
I read it somewhere.
I don't know. Maybe he did. I really don't know.
So you left him a letter. It was funny with Peter Doocy, and Peter said, oh, Mr. President, did Joe Biden leave you a letter? He did leave you a letter.
He did.
And you had left him one, but you've never disclosed either one of them.
Well, a lot of people...
Now would be a great time.
You know, it was interesting. A lot of people thought it was sort of like a setup with Peter Doocy and myself, and I have a lot of respect for Peter. But he just asked me a question about the letter. And then I remember that, it's like a custom, you leave it right in the drawer of that beautiful desk right alongside of us. And so I opened it up, and I actually gave the letter to Peter.
And did he got to read it?
I guess. I haven't.
You don't know if he read it?
I just sent it to him a little while ago.
All right. Before we get into, there's so much substance. You are inheriting a lot of problems, a lot of things that actually scare me. And I want to get to all of that, but I will get to all of that.
All solvable problems, Tom.
I agree.
They're all solvable.
Not easy.
With time, effort, money, unfortunately, but they're all solvable problems. We can get our country back. But if we didn't win this race, I really believe our country would have been lost forever.
Were there moments, I mean, when you think of what they threw at you. And I know you signed this declaration about no more weaponization. And we know that the preemptive pardons came up on Joe's way out, but you were facing a civil trial, a criminal trial, conviction, sentencing, Jack Smith, D.C., Florida, Fonnie Willis. I mean, you fought through all of that to get back right here in this office. What people don't know is over there's a little red button you push. You scare people. People think it's the nuclear button, but it's really,
something else.
It's something you use it for a different purpose. But the question I have was, at any point, did you doubt you would be back here?
So it's a great question. It's something I don't think about. I never really thought about it. I don't think about, gee, will I be back? I just do it. I get it done. I get things done. I'm good at getting things done, and I set my mind to it. As you know, we had a great election in 2016. I had a much better election in 2020. And if I didn't have that election, I wouldn't have run. If I thought that I didn't get the number of votes, and it was reported that I got almost 75 million votes, and that was their numbers. That wasn't the numbers. That was their numbers. That was more than anybody has gotten in history, any president had ever gotten. And you lost. Had I gotten like 50 million, 40 million, or 60 million, I would never have run. But that was like a poll. So, but I had a different attitude. Too big to rig.
Poll came out just in the last 24 hours by Insider Advantage. That's Matt Towery. He nailed 2016, 2020, and 2024. Great pollster, as you know.
Right.
And he gave you a 56% approval rating. He also said of Congress, and I had a town hall with members of Congress last night, that 70% of respondents want Congress to unite behind your agenda.
I watched that show. It was a great show, and you had some great people in the background. Yeah. I know every one of them, and they're really patriots. I just saw the love, as the speaker, who was doing a terrific job. The speaker is answering questions, and I saw the acknowledgement and the love they had. And those are tough people behind him. These are not easy people.
There are others that are tougher.
I said, well, I don't know. This is a tough group if they want to be. They're not, nobody much tougher. But they're very unified. I think they're going to do a great job.
But they have a small majority. You went through over 200 since we've got here. And we have breaking news today that we'll get to in a minute. And especially as it relates to the border and some other issues. But you're going to need to do some of these things legislatively. You will probably play the largest role in uniting them both in the House and Senate. Reconciliation, the Senate has very strict, rules governing how they can do it. Do you, one big beautiful bill, two bills, do you care at this point?
I don't care as long as we get to the final answer. I like the concept of the one bill. I guess I said one big beautiful, and that's what everyone faced. Actually, it's sort of a nice sound to it. But I do like that concept. It could be something else. It could be a smaller bill and a big bill. Right. But as long as we get to the right answer. Now, I will say that Los Angeles has changed everything because a lot of money is going to be necessary for Los Angeles. And a lot of people on the other side want that to happen. And
North Carolina, too.
Fast. Well, they don't care about North Carolina. The Democrats don't care about North Carolina. What they've done with FEMA is so bad. FEMA is a whole nother discussion because all it does is complicate everything. FEMA has not done their job for the last 4 years. I had FEMA working really well. We had hurricanes in Florida. We had Alabama, tornadoes. But unless you have certain types of leadership, it gets in the way. And FEMA is going to be a whole big discussion very shortly because I'd rather see the states take care of their own problems. If they have a tornado someplace, and let that state. Oklahoma is very competent. I love Oklahoma. 77 out of 77 districts. And that's never been done before. I did it 3 times. I mean, think of it, 3 times. Never been done. Ronald Reagan had the record, 56 out of 77. I got 77 out of 77. So you have to love a place like that. I love Oklahoma. But you know what? If they get hit with a tornado or something, let Oklahoma fix it. You don't need. And then the federal government can help them out with the money. The FEMA is getting in the way of everything, and the Democrats actually use FEMA not to help North Carolina.
It makes no sense.
So I'm stopping on Friday. I'm stopping in North Carolina, first stop, because those people were treated very badly by Democrats. And I'm stopping there. We're going to get that thing straightened out because they're still suffering from a hurricane from months ago. And then I'm going to go to California.
Will you meet with Gavin?
I don't know. I haven't even thought about it. Look, Gavin's got one thing he can do. He can release the water that comes from the north. There is massive amounts of water, rainwater and mountain water that comes due with the snow, comes down as it melts. There's so much water, they're releasing it into the Pacific Ocean. And I told him, it's a political thing for the Democrats.
I played the tape. You said it to him in front of him in 2018.
I said it to him in front of the media and everything else, and nobody talks about it. The media never picks it up. You put it out. I was so happy to see that tape because some people said, is that possible? They have water coming down from the Pacific Northwest, which has a lot of water. So much water that they'd have to let some of it go at some point. They don't need reservoirs. They don't need any. They're spending all this money on these reservoirs, and they're fake reservoirs. You know,
But the reservoirs were empty. The hydrants didn't work, and they're not practicing the science of forestry, which is
sprinklers didn't work in the homes because they had no water. Think of it. We have sprinklers. Think of it with no water. They didn't have any water. The fire hydrants. Yeah, believe it, hard to believe. The place has sprinklers. It's nice, but you don't want to lose this office. By the way, how do you like it?
I'm glad. It's great to be back. I'm not going to lie.
You know, I've had the biggest people in the world come here, and they come into the Oval Office, and they just look, and they want time to look. They're looking around. George Washington, Honest Abe.
One day, maybe we can do a tour. We had a conversation, and maybe I shouldn't disclose this, but I will. And it was after the 2020 election. And you asked me a question, and we've known each other for 30 years, so we have a friendship and we have a professional relationship. And the question you asked me, maybe in the end it will be better that if I came back in 4 years. And we talked about history. After World War II, Winston Churchill was thrown out, but they brought him back. Grover Cleveland is the only other American president that did not serve consecutive terms. And my answer to you was, I thought it would be bigger if you came back.
It's turning out to be bigger. And I think one thing is happening is people are learning that they can't govern and that their policies are terrible. I mean, they don't want to see a woman get pummeled by a man in a boxing ring.
No.
They don't want to see men in women's sports in other ways. They don't want to see them, and they don't want to have transgender for everyone. They don't want a child leave home as a boy and come back 2 days later as a girl. A parent doesn't want to see that. And there are states where that can happen.
Oh.
They don't want to see taxes go through the roof. Like, this is the only group of people they want to raise your taxes. They say, we want to raise your taxes. You know, if they don't work with us on the Trump tax cuts extending, that would mean it would go back to the taxes. We got the largest tax cut in history. That would mean the taxes would go up more than any tax hike in the history of our country. And normally you'd say, that's got to be the easiest negotiation in history, because if they did that, how could they ever win an election? But they'll fight us on that. They fight us on things. It's incredible.
Here, I ran into...
They don't use common sense. In my opinion, the Democrats don't use common sense.
And common sense won the day in the election.
Yeah, but you know the amazing thing? I'm watching now. Now it's time, and, you know, a few months have passed, and the election's over, and you see what happened, and it was a rout. I won all 7 swing states, and we won by millions of votes, the popular vote, millions. And nobody can even believe some of the numbers. And how about with African Americans, with Hispanics, with everything, how well we did? Nobody can believe the numbers. How about with youth? I won youth by 36 points. Now, maybe that's because I went on TikTok. I don't know. But I'm starting to have a very warm spot.
TikTok is going to be sold, right?
I think TikTok's going to be sold.
People like
I'll tell you, people want to buy it. People want to buy it.
But those that say they know say it's a spying app for the communist Chinese.
But you can say that about everything made in China. Look, we have our telephones made in China for the most part. We have so many things made in China, so why don't they mention that? You know,
Let me get to
the
some
interesting
issues.
thing with TikTok, though, is you're dealing with a lot of young people. So
They love it.
is it that important for China to be spying on young people, on young kids watching crazy videos and things?
I don't want China spying on anybody.
No, but they make you telephones and they make you computers and they make a lot of other things. Isn't that a bigger threat?
I'm sure that'll be part of your discussions with President Xi, which I'm going to talk about in a moment. Let me go to the border. We do have breaking news today. I ran into Tom Homan as I was walking in today. And so far, 308 total arrests, 296 detainees, and the first deployment of military assets to the U.S. border. The deployment includes active duty troops in the National Guard.
Right.
And here's my biggest fear and concern beyond the Iranian assassination squads is we now know 14 million. We don't know how many gotaways. We don't know the total number. But we have known terrorists in our country. We have known murderers, rapists. We have violent criminals, cartel members, gang members. Now, I would imagine if you came from Iran and Syria and Egypt and Afghanistan and Russia and China and Venezuela, you didn't come here because you want a better life for your children. I would imagine those known terrorists are planning an attack on our homeland. At a moment's notice, you're going to be in this desk, maybe sitting at this desk or maybe up in the residence, and they're going to call you down in the Situation Room because our homeland is under attack. I would like to be wrong, but when you have known terrorists, you have to believe that they are going to attack our homeland. That would change their trajectory, that moment of your entire presidency. That has to weigh on you.
Yeah, it could be. And I know I've watched you for a lot of years, and you actually make one statement before you say that. You say 100% certain.
I do.
That's a pretty big statement.
And then I say, I pray to God I'm wrong.
Yeah, I hope you're wrong too. And I won't comment, but I tend to agree with you. It depends. We'll see what happens. Look, we have a lot of great people right now, a lot of great people on this situation. This was a gross miscarriage of common sense to allow people to come in. And I believe the number is 21 million people, and a large percentage of them are criminals all over the world. This is not just South America. This isn't, we talk Venezuela, that's a big abuser, but these are countries from
Iran,
the
Syria?
Congo, countries that you don't even think of. The Congo has emptied their prisons out into the United States. We're not thinking about the Congo, we're thinking about South America. It's much more than South America. But prisons from all over the world have been emptied out into our country by Biden, allowing it to happen. I don't even know if he knew what the hell was going on, but who would want this? I always say to people, you always like to understand, like in a business, you want to understand the other side. Why do they want something, et cetera, and you figure it out. And there's usually an answer, almost always. I don't understand, why does somebody want open borders where, and they say the vote, okay, but I did well with the Hispanic vote. If you're looking at Hispanic, they say they do it because they want to think they're going to stay in power. It's going to be better for Democrats. I don't really believe that. Besides that, they cheat so much. They don't have to do that. They cheat so well. They're very good at cheating. The only thing they're good at really is cheating. But here's the thing I ask. Why would somebody say that open borders are good, where jails and mental institutions from other countries and gang members right off the streets of the toughest cities in the world are being brought to the United States of America and emptied out into our country? Why would anybody that even likes, you don't have to love our country, you have to like it. Why would anybody that likes our country, the Democrats, allow that to happen? And even now, I watch them on television, they're trying to justify it. You can't justify it. The only reason it can be is two reasons. You're stupid, and I don't think they're stupid. I think anybody that cheats that much and that well is not stupid. You're either stupid or you hate the country. Those are the only two reasons. Sean, who would ask for open borders with people pouring in, some of whom, I won't get into it, but you can look at them and you can say, could be trouble, could be trouble. There are people coming in.
There are people with gang tattoos on.
There are people coming in with tattoos all over their face. Their entire face is covered with tattoos.
That identifies
Typically, he's not going to be the head of the local bank.
part 2 of my exclusive interview with the president only moments away. Stay with us as we continue from the White House.
All right, so he's gone to commercial, and we'll be back in. Hannity's not doing a bad job. He's not interrupting as much as he normally interrupts, but I guess that's we can be happy about that. So let me go ahead, while he's at commercial, let me go ahead and do a sponsor read right quick here, if it pops up for me. Okay. President Trump said he wants to teach our kids to love our country, and now that it's finally time for his inauguration, which already happened, it's the perfect time to teach kids everything they know about their new president and his mission to make America great again. That's why Mike Huckabee's team put together the Kids Guide to President Trump, and to celebrate President Trump's return to the White House, they're giving it away for free. This book is great because it features fun illustrations and content teaching kids all about President Trump's accomplishments and his goals for his second term. Mike Huckabee wants to send your family this free guide so you can teach your kids the truth about President Trump. And when you order, you'll receive a free commemorative President Trump pin. But you must hurry because supplies are limited. Claim your free Kids Guide to President Trump for your kids right now. See offer details and order your free guide at kidstrumpguide.com. kidstrumpguide.com. Or you can just go ahead and take a picture of the QR code, and that'll get you over there as well. kidstrumpguide.com. All right, so let's dig into what we've heard thus far. Hannity is setting this up. You can see Trump is ready to pounce on something. I'm not really sure what he really wants to say. It's up to Hannity to kind of ask the question. I'm thinking he's ready to talk about the J6ers. I think he's ready to talk about Tom Homan and what Tom Homan's doing. And I really think that he's ready to talk business. He's ready to talk money and everything else that, I mean, $600 billion from the Saudi prince. Yesterday, $500 billion with the AI infrastructure announcement. Well, my math tells me it's 600 and 500 are $1.1 trillion in 2 days. Just 2 days. So at this point, he's flooding the zone. He's putting out all the executive orders, and he's doing it all at the same time trying to raise money. Let's see if they're back in yet. No, they're still talking. Excuse me. What's also important, as far as I'm concerned, is taking the fight to the Democrats, going at the weak points, putting the military at the border, shutting it down, going after the cartels. That's going to be absolutely huge. Mexico's resisting, and they've decided they're going to try and create their own CB1 app and send people over here by airplanes. That would be a bad move, Mexico, because then what you would be doing is trying to engage almost in a war with the United States and push people over here. That's not going to work well at all. Then tomorrow, remember, Trump is going to be talking to the WEF, the Davos group. I think he's going to be doing that by some sort of Zoom call. We'll see if we can get on it and cover it. But if we can, he's going to be talking to Davos. I think Trump should be talking about that tonight. What do you expect to do with all these globalists? They're on the ropes. You've got them. Now it's determined, like, are you going to go for the jugular and put them out? Or are you going to try and negotiate something with these globalists? Also, talk about Biden's pardons. Interesting. Something came up today. I don't know. I haven't been able to verify it. But supposedly, Russia, as a part of a ceasefire with Ukraine, is now saying, listen, we want to bring Fauci over here as a criminal. Interesting. And let him be tried over there. I'd do that in a heartbeat. Definitely would do that in a heartbeat. So, waiting for him to come back. If that's nuts. And I realized, like, wow, that's interesting. We can't do anything right now because of the pardon, but we can ship him over to another country. We can extradite him. So if Putin really does want him, send him over there. He deserves it. He absolutely deserves it. I haven't verified if that's true yet. We'll have to see if that's actually something that's really happening. But could you imagine if Vladimir Putin wants to put him under arrest and have him extradited to Russia? Good luck with that. Ask Brittany Griner how Russian prisons are, Fauci. You ain't going to make it there. Nope, ain't going to make it. And Trump would be the guy to do that. Say, listen, we know what you did here. I can't do anything because what Biden did, but we're going to put you on a plane and take you over to see this guy Vladimir Putin, and he's going to put you in one of his jails and try you for things against the Russian people. Perfect move. Perfect move. I bet you he says, I'll spill the beans here. Just don't send me over to Russia. I bet you he says, I'll deny the pardon, put me in jail here. I don't want to go do time over in Russia. That would be an epic Trump deal. Say, Vlad, go ahead and take this little elf and do what you want with him. And now, I can't verify it if it's true, but if it's true, that would be absolutely huge. The left would lose their mind. We're back. Let's go in here.
In less than 48 hours, President Trump granted more access to the press than his predecessor did in 4 long years. Here's part 2 of our exclusive interview.
What do you do, sanctuary states? By definition, or sanctuary cities, they're aiding and abetting in the law breaking. Okay, they're going to get federal funds.
Yeah. We're trying to get rid of them. We're trying to end them, and a lot of the people in those communities don't want them. California is a big example.
Would you cut off their money?
I might have to do that. Sometimes that's the only thing you can do. Look, California is a great example of it. If you actually polled the people, they don't want sanctuary cities, but Gavin Newsom does, and these radical left politicians do. And if you asked them why, they couldn't even. I watched Gavin Newsom try to answer that question. He was unable to even answer. He looked like an idiot. He was unable to answer. I asked him one other question. Why is it that you don't want millions of gallons of water a day pouring throughout California? The farmland in California is, they say, the equivalent of Iowa, great land, but it's got no water. And you sit there, and it's literally, you can see it burning. It's on flame.
Sure.
All they need is water in that big farmland. And I ask them, why? How is it possible that you're not allowing this water? They divert it out to the Pacific Ocean, where it drops into the ocean. And you know what it's like? It's like nothing. To the Pacific Ocean, it's like 2 glasses of water. It's nothing. Millions of gallons of water is diverted way up north in California into the Pacific Ocean. That water, they have the pipes in it. It's half pipes. You see them all the time. Half pipes. People live in those half pipes now. They have homeless living in those half pipes. But this is water that millions of gallons of water a week and a day in some cases, depending on the flow. So much water they wouldn't know what to do with it. Your sprinklers would be filled. They can even, remember when I took criticism because I said you have to manage your forests? The head of a country that lives in forests, a number of them actually, Finland told me this, Austria told me this, head of Austria, head of Finland. And it was beautiful the way they expressed it. They said, we live in a forest. We are a forest nation. That's beautiful, isn't it, to say that? We have trees that are the most magnificent in the world, far more beautiful than what they have in California, and much more flammable. Mm-hmm. He said, we don't have forest fires. We manage our forests.
You can get a degree in forestry.
Well, they'll do cuts, yeah. Can you imagine? But you don't need much. You have to clean the floors of the forest. When they had forests, I go to see some of the sites I watched in California. They use billions of dollars of money. And they just said, and look at what happened. Los Angeles, that's like a nuclear weapon went off, what's happened to Los Angeles. And, that thing went for 4 or 5 days. Nobody was even fighting it because they didn't have any water. Their fire departments aren't funded properly. And the firefighters were brave as hell. They were fighting without water. I mean, they turn on a fire hydrant, there's no water that comes out, and the fires are rushing at them at 30, 40 miles an hour. Those firefighters were brave. What happened to that state is incredible. And then you listen to, I remember when Ron DeSantis and Gavin Newsom were debating on your show.
Yeah.
And Newsom's talking like, everything's great. Oh, everything's great, just great, just great. More people left California this year than ever have left in history before the fire. But look at it. Take a look. And you know, the amazing thing, these are wealthy people. Many wealthy people lost their homes. I saw somebody on television, one of the wealthiest people, one of the most powerful people in the country, being interviewed as though he were a vagrant. His shirt was, and you have to know him, he's a mean, horrible human being. He's a tough guy, very tough guy, a horrible person.
Yeah.
But he's very rich. And
He's
very,
rich, but he's a horrible person.
No, he's a horrible human being. I know you have rich people that are very nice, but this guy's a terrible person. So I say, that's so-and-so. I said to Melania, I said, look at it. They were interviewing him as a guy that lost his house. He said, they took my house away. And he's literally in his underwear and his T-shirt. It looked like he just got out of the bedroom. And I say, that's one of the wealthiest guys in the country. Look at this guy. Take a look at him. Someday I'll tell you the name, maybe after the interview. Okay. But you won't even believe it. But he was on television as somebody that, and he was complaining they wouldn't let him go to his house, which was on fire. They wouldn't let him go because, you know, they don't want him to die. No, some of the wealthiest, most powerful people lost their homes. And it looked like our country was helpless. This fire was just raging, and then it would catch to another area, another area, another area. There was nothing. It took a week and a half, and I've never seen anything like it. We look so weak.
Will you give, obviously Americans want to help the other Americans in need, okay? Yeah. Fair enough. We do that. We got to help the people in North Carolina. They've been suffering.
Well, you know, that's what I want to do. That's why I'm stopping there first.
You're going to stop in California?
I'm stopping in North Carolina.
Should the money be contingent on them practicing the science of forestry?
Well, I think this. I'm going to put a statement out today, I think, and maybe it's already written. I said, I don't think we should give California anything until they let water flow down into their state.
From the north to the south.
This is a political thing. I don't know what it is. You know, they talk about the Delta smelt. It's a little tiny fish like this.
I went out.
They say it's an endangered species. Well, how is it endangered? No wonder it's endangered. It's not getting any water. How do you, if you have a fish and you're stopping the water, isn't that going to hurt the fish?
I did a show in 2009 from the San Joaquin Valley, Devin Nunes' district.
Right.
And they wouldn't give thousands of acres of farmland water to protect that.
By the way, you see that now. I drove up the highway. I was with Devin Nunes, another Republican congressman, and I looked at these vast areas of land, and it looked like it was just burning. It was dark. It was dry. And then there'd be a little patch, little tiny patch of green, beautiful green. And I said, why? How come all this land has these little patches? They said, that's all that we're allowed to farm because we have no water. I said, are you having a drought? No. They've turned off the water. They turned off the spigot from up north in order to protect the Delta smelt.
Let me move on to the
And by the way, I don't really believe it's the Delta smelt because nobody could do that. It's not endangered either. They have it in other locations, et cetera, et cetera.
They're doing seemingly everything they could do, like New York is in many ways, to chase people away.
No, but could you imagine today?
It's crazy.
When people, and the press doesn't like, when I talk about the water that they're turning into the Pacific, the press never wants to put it on. The fake news. They don't want to put it on, Sean.
You do realize that you have permanently tattooed into the forehead of legacy media the term fake news. You do realize they spent 9 years, 9 years attacking you from the moment you came down that escalator, and they didn't stop. And here's the interesting part to me, is that all of the attacks, all the weaponization, all the FISA warrants, all the Russia, and we can go on, all the various venues, the J6 committee, which kept out a lot of pertinent information.
And how about the J6 committee? I call it the unselect. You know, they say the select.
But they didn't win.
No. What they did was criminal. That's why they got pardoned.
No,
they deleted and destroyed all of the information that they collected over 2 years. Why else would they need a pardon? And you know why? Because it proved I was right. All of that information was deleted and destroyed. They deleted all of the information having to do with the 10,000 soldiers that I offered to Nancy Pelosi, and she's now on tape admitting it.
I have 4 of the 5 people on tape, and General Milley was the 5th in writing, all saying that you authorized it in the days leading up. The Capitol Police Chief asked for the Guard, was begging for the Guard. Muriel Bowser, in writing, denied the use of the Guard.
But Nancy Pelosi even more strongly denied it.
She said that.
She was responsible
She
for
took
the whole thing.
responsibility.
She was and she took responsibility for her daughter.
Yeah.
When it was exposed, they found the daughter's tape, a videotape of her mother saying that she was responsible. And you know what? And they try to lose it. But
Let me
wait a
move
minute.
on to the economy.
Unselect, remember this, the Unselect Committee, these people that were appointed, all Democrats, plus two worse than Democrats, that's crying Adam Kinzinger and Liz Cheney, who lost her congressional seat by more than any person in the history of Congress. She lost by a number that nobody has ever lost by. You know why? Because usually when you have a poll and you're down by like 40 or 50 points, you're smart enough to drop out. She should have dropped out. At least she wouldn't have that moniker.
Before I go to the economy and foreign policy, let me, as long as you brought up this topic, Joe Biden, Chuck Schumer, Adam Schiff, who got a preemptive pardon, all these people that got pardoned, Anthony Fauci, did he know that NIH money through the EcoHealth Alliance was funding the Wuhan Virology Lab? There seems to be text and messages and emails that went back and forth. You talk about the Unselect Committee, as you call it, the January 6th committee. They had a predetermined outcome. General Milley, all these people, the Biden family members. Joe Biden ran and said he would never do preemptive pardons. It was an issue that came up when you were leaving in your first time.
He thought, he heard that I was going to do it. I didn't want to do it. I was given the option. They said, sir, would you like to pardon everybody, including yourself? I said, I'm not going to pardon anybody. We didn't do anything wrong. And we had people that suffered. They're incredible patriots. We had people that suffered. You had Bannon put in jail. You had Peter Navarro put in jail. You had people that suffered. And far worse than that, they've lost their fortunes. They've lost their whatever, their nest egg, paying it to lawyers. And those people, and people said, and they wouldn't have even taken, most of those people, they wouldn't have even taken a pardon. This guy went around giving everybody pardons. And you know, the funny thing, maybe the sad thing, is he didn't give himself a pardon. And if you look at it, it all had to do with him. I mean, the money went to him.
Should Congress investigate that?
Well, I don't know. It's, you know,
You ordered the DOJ.
I've always been, look, he didn't give himself a pardon. And he didn't give some other people a pardon that needed it. And I heard Schiff went to him and just begged him for a pardon because Schiff is a crook. Yeah. Schiff is a crooked guy. He's a crooked politician. He made up the story about Russia. He totally made it up. You know, he's a storyteller. And then after he made it up, they found out that there was a tape of the conversation made by, you know, I guess the State Department. I don't know. When you make calls, they make tapes sometimes, not all the time.
He
but
was the one
sometimes.
talking to the Russians.
So he, in the meantime, made up the conversation, totally made it up about quid pro quo. There was no quid pro quo, just there was a perfect call. Tim Scott was the first one to come. He read it. He said, "This is a perfect call. What are you doing? You're impeaching a man for a perfect call." It was Schiff, Hillary, the whole group. You know what? They should. Schiff is just a bad, sick guy. And he went to Biden and he demanded a pardon because he thought he did something. He knew he did something.
Benny Thompson won the chairman of that committee.
Benny Thompson destroyed, along with that Unselect Committee, destroyed all of the work that took place over 2 years. You know why? It showed that I was right.
We're back with the 45th and 47th.
Just so you guys know, you've been seeing a lot of people talking about Patriot Mom. Patriot Mom is someone here in our community who's been here for quite some time. Her name is Kimberly Wargo. We did a video together. Kimberly Wargo was one of the J6ers who they put actually in jail, and she's been on probation for quite some time, and she got her papers. It's over. It's over for her and her son. I think for her son as well. Kim, you're going to have to let us know if it also covers your son. But that's some fantastic news. Kimberly Wargo is a free woman, completely been pardoned by Donald Trump. That's some great news. Great news. Barry, this is perfect. Thank you so much. It was just made perfect further by Patriot Mom letting us know, thank you, Lord, she is done. She doesn't have to deal with this crap anymore. If you haven't seen my video, it's over on Rumble. If you want to look for it, it says in my interview with a J6er. I'm going to try and post it on here, meaning YouTube. We'll see if they allow it. Hopefully they do. But, God bless the Patriot Mom. Absolutely. So, what's it say? Yes. Oh, she just responded. Yes, my Marine vet son as well. So, both she and her son have been pardoned. Fantastic. Fantastic. I know you've gone through so much, and you've had to wait and wait and wait. And Biden and Kamala weren't going to give an inch. At least she hasn't been spending the last couple years in jail. They put her on probation. But that's absolutely awesome. My buddy Will got pardoned. Was just hammered and banging on a wall in the Capitol, and he just got pardoned. Fantastic. Awesome. Patriot Mom is free. I know those truly love this news. Yeah. You guys are all sitting there. Yeah, Patriot Mom. Kim, we're sending you some love, baby. Sending you some love. Adam Schiff. Guy has no scruples. Made everything up. Talked crap about Trump. And then begged for a pardon. Got a pardon. And the day after he gets a pardon, he starts talking crap about January 6 people. It doesn't make any sense. This guy, you got to find a way to go after him. What else we got here? I see a lot of people talking about Patriot Mom. Barry, have you ever interviewed Julie Kelly, who fought hard for the J6ers? Nope. But now that you bring it up, Ashley, we want to get Julie Kelly on. That would be a good one to talk to. Absolutely. Adam Schiff is it. What about the JFK files? So they didn't come out yet. You know the meme with the old people clicking a button? Everyone's been clicking. Let me check what right now while they're at commercial. Let me see if anything has come up. JFK files. That's gonna watch it come out at like midnight. Watch it come out overnight while everybody's sleeping or something. But as of right now, nope. People are putting up memes about having to wait for the Uh-oh. Wait a second. This may be it. I'm not sure. I haven't verified it yet. But there seems to be something on archives.gov. While Sean is talking to Trump, I'll go ahead and see if I can verify that it actually came out because, let's see, wow is promised, nothing yet. Okay, so I'm looking around. I do not see it from any reputable source that I'm willing to say here are the files, so I'm not going to say that. So as soon as it comes out, it probably won't be till tomorrow.
America and the challenges ahead. Right. Don't miss.
I thought that was the interview. They were doing a trailer and to see when he came back on. But yeah, nobody's got it. Nobody reputable who I would trust has posted yet that the files are out. So nothing yet. It's going to break the internet. You'll know. Trust me, you will know when those files come out. Probably you're going to know because the person who's going to push it the hardest is probably going to be Elon Musk. So with his 215 million followers, once that thing hits, he's going to push it out. You can be guaranteed on that. Blast them JFK files all over Elon's X's platform. When it comes, we're going to have to download that. So somebody has posted about abolish the IRS. Sean Hannity, if I was interviewing him, that would have been my main question. Yeah, I understand you're doing all this stuff at the border. Yeah, what are you doing about the IRS? Get to the heart of the matter. That is a huge question. That may be, he could have had 2 questions tonight. That's it. The interview could have been 2 questions. A, when are you releasing the JFK file? And what are you going to do about it? And then shut up, Sean. Let him talk about the JFK files. Number 2, Are we going to abolish the IRS, or is it a rumor? Is it a pipe dream? Are you going to try and abolish the IRS? When do you think you can get that done? Okay, and we are back.
To Hannity, and here is more of our exclusive White House Oval Office interview with President Donald J. Trump.
So you did run on a platform. You were very straightforward. You said you would pardon these people that were sentenced for January 6th.
No, totally.
You did. The only criticism or pushback I've seen is about people that were convicted or were involved in incidents where they were violent with police. Why did they get a pardon?
Number of reasons. Number one, they were in there for 3.5 years, a long time.
Right.
And in many solitary confinement, treated like nobody's ever been treated so badly. They were treated like the worst criminals in history. And you know what they were there for? They were protesting the vote because they knew the election was rigged, and they were protesting the vote. And that you should be allowed to protest a vote. You should be allowed to. You know, when the day comes,
you shouldn't be able to invade the Capitol.
No, ready? Most of the people were absolutely innocent. Okay, but forgetting all about that, these people have served horribly a long time. It would be very, very cumbersome to go and look. You know how many people we're talking about? 1,500 people. Almost all of them should not have been. This should not have happened. And the other thing is this: some of those people with the police, true, but they were very minor incidents. Okay, you know, they get built up by a couple of fake guys that are on CNN all the time.
Nobody watches.
They were very minor incidents, and it was time. You have murderers in Philadelphia. You have murderers in Los Angeles that don't even get any time. They don't even collect them, and they know they're there to be collected. And then they go on television and act holier than thou about this one or that one. You had 1,500 people that suffered. That's a lot of people. Do you know, they were looking for new people 2 weeks ago. They were looking, wait a minute, they were looking to charge new people. They have a woman who's 76 years old that they said made a statement that was a little bit out of line years after the fact. This was a political hoax. And you know what? Those people, and I'm not saying in every single case, but there was a lot of patriotism with those people, a lot of patriotism. You know, they did a recording, and you know, they asked me if I'd do the voiceover, and I did. Yeah. Do you know it was the #1 selling, whatever you call it nowadays, album, whatever, song,
CD,
whatever you call it. You don't know, it changes every year, right? But it was the #1 selling song, #1 on Billboard, #1 on everything for so long. People get it. They wanted to see those people.
American people were aware. You told them what you would do. They voted for me. Joe Biden said he would not do it. Let me move on to the economy. Because it's so important. It was such a big important. Yeah.
I was very clear about it.
Very clear.
I said I was going to release him, and probably very quickly. And they voted for me, and I won in a landslide. And that was only one of the many reasons.
Joe said he would not do preemptive pardons back in 2020. Chuck Schumer said it. Schiff said it. They all said it. The media said it.
The precedent that he set on pardons is amazing. That's a much bigger story, but people don't like talking about it. He pardoned everybody, but he didn't pardon himself. And remember this, those people that he pardoned are now mandated, because they got a pardon, to testify, and they can't take the fifth.
Should Congress investigate that?
I think we'll let Congress decide.
Would you want the Attorney General to investigate it?
You know, I was always against that with presidents and Hillary Clinton. I could have had Hillary Clinton, a big number done on her.
Have you changed your mind?
And I didn't want to. Well, I went through 4 years of hell by the scum that we had to deal with. I went through 4 years of hell. I spent millions of dollars in legal fees, and I won. But I did it the hard way. It's really hard to say that they shouldn't have to go through it also. It is very hard to say that. Joe Biden, remember this, Joe Biden got very bad advice because like he has in everything.
Hunter's laptop.
He got bad advice on Ukraine. He got bad advice that war should have never started. He got bad advice on Israel. He got bad advice on the way he got out of Afghanistan. We should have gotten out with strength and dignity, not like a bunch of losers. Joe Biden has very bad advisors. Somebody advised Joe Biden to give pardons to everybody but him. They wanted to take care of. Yeah, but Sean, they wanted to. I don't care.
They're yelling at me.
This is more important because right now the economy is going to do great.
I want to know about
I'm here, so the economy. But you have to understand, he had bad advisors on almost everything. It's like in the old days when the Secretary of State said he never made a correct decision on foreign policy. Joe Biden got very bad advice.
You've been through, you had two would-be assassins. You came within a millimeter of losing your life in this whole process. I know you kind of are somebody that compartmentalizes because I've known you so long, but do you ever think, and you said this in your inaugural, that you really believe God saved your life so that this was your destiny? Explain that.
Well, I do believe that. I've had people that really know a lot about guns. And they said that gun, that particular gun, in that beautiful field, as I called it, in Pennsylvania, which it is, Butler, that gun's a very accurate gun, and that a bad shooter would hit the target 100% of the time.
You can't miss.
Okay, from that distance. Yeah, from that distance. I mean, to me, I don't know as much about it. They said it's like for a golfer sinking a 1-foot putt from that distance. And my son Don and my son, both of them, Eric, they're great shooters. Both of them are great shooters. And they said it's amazing, it's a miracle. I think it affected them because they can't believe that happened. I turned. If I didn't turn, when the turn was like split-second perfect timing. So something happened, and I don't think you can call it just luck. The chance was like 1/8 of a second, or we wouldn't be sitting here. Think of it, in a volume of time, 1/8 of a second, I was in the right position.
Do you believe that moment, people say to me, they see a change in you. Do you believe you changed? Is this, for example, increased your faith in God?
Yes, I think so. I don't think I've changed, but I think that has taken place, yeah. Because when you look at statistically, I should never be here. I mean, if I don't turn I'm looking at an immigration chart, my favorite chart ever in history.
Yeah.
Even if the numbers were bad, I would.
We're talking about assassination, and you're telling jokes.
Can you believe it? No, can you believe it?
But it's terrible. I remember that day like
when I turned, and it had to be at an exactly 90-degree angle, and I said, throw down the chart or something to that effect, and they bring the chart, and I'm literally looking exactly at the right angle. I couldn't have even been a little further or a little bit less. It would have whacked. Because it was 1/8 of an inch. The entire ride was 1/8 of an inch.
Will you investigate these assassination attempts? And you stated that you will release the files, all of the files, as it relates to the JFK assassination. And by the way, this is his desk.
Yeah, that's right.
This is where John Kennedy, little John Kennedy.
It's a movable door.
Yeah.
It's a little door there. That's where John was.
John, yeah. And RFK. And also Martin Luther King Jr., and that you will be transparent. This was going to happen in the first
So many
term.
people have asked me to do that. And I did it with Kennedy to an extent, but I was asked by some of our government officials not to. And, you have to respect them. I was actually asked by Mike Pompeo, as Secretary of State, not to. And I felt he knew something that maybe, when he asks you not to, you sort of say, why? And he felt that it was just not a good time to release him. And you might ask him why. Maybe he'll deny that even. But he did. He asked me. And some others also, though. They didn't want the Kennedy stuff released. And they're professionals, and I respect them. And they're working for me and the country. They're working for the country. And so I didn't release, but I'm going to release them immediately upon we're going to see the information. We're looking at it right now.
More Hannity from the White House as we continue.
All right, so obviously this was a previously taped interview. I don't know what time they taped it, but by now I would think the JFK files would be out. And at this point, I'm refreshing, and I was refreshing while everything was going on, and I don't see anything as of yet that points to them being released. So we're just going to have to wait until they come out. It's 9:55. By the time they get back from the commercial, this is probably going to be just about done. So once this thing is done, I've got some more video to show you of the news that happened today. And then we're going to give away 3 hoodies tonight as well. So hold on after the show, and we'll go ahead and basically give away the hoodies and have some fun. Release the files. I've been looking. I keep searching. They're not there yet. So somebody may have tried to talk him out of releasing them. They're not there yet. Not out. And I would think Elon, I would think RFK Jr., these people would probably have it and be blasting it out. I do see some, like Kash Patel is the #1 trend right now. So I'm not really sure what that's all about. We'll dig into that and maybe have it tomorrow. Let's see here. Good. Breaking news, FBI agents are saying if Kash Patel becomes FBI director, it would cause massive damage to the agency and are threatening to quit. Bye. That would give him exactly what he wants. If they're going to quit because Kash Patel, bring in the right people. That's what I'm saying. They're saying that the Fed's direction would be nothing compared to what Kash Patel would do. People are freaking out. Shut it down. I'm seeing stuff like that over and over. Does Kash have something on you? They're terrified. That's just one other thing that these people are freaking out about. But at this point, no, nothing on JFK. They got him not to release the files the first term. Not sure what's taking them so long to get him out tonight. Probably, late. They're probably going through it. Who knows? Trump's not done. He's not going to bed at 10 o'clock at night. He's probably watching this, seeing what kind of response people have on X, and we'll see what happens when he comes back. But I'm pretty sure, given the time, that's probably going to be it. They're probably going to come back and say, well, that's all the time we have tonight with President Trump. Thank you very much. We got to go. Which is the constraints of having things done on television. And even though this was recorded, they could have, bumped Gutfeld for this. I would have bumped Gutfeld. I got the president. But that's all we're going to get. I'm pretty sure. That's Barry's, I've been telling you, all lies lead to the truth. Yep, I agree with that. So we're going to come back from this commercial in a second, and this is going to be it. God is always in control. Absolutely. I believe that fully. Don't let the door hit you on. Yeah, if these FBI agents you want to go ahead and threaten your boss with quitting, get out. I don't want you here. And would never operate your business like that. If somebody said, hey, if this guy buys the company, we're not gonna work here. Okay, well, you got to go. Do what you got to do. Go away. I don't know how that's supposed to be some sort of threat that would keep a man from being confirmed. If you don't want to be here, I'm not going to make you stay. It's that simple. Yes, they are running scared. Well, we need Kash in that position. And Pam Bondi. They go hand in hand. All right, I think we're going to be back right after this. Nope, they're still running more commercials. Trump is probably going over it with RFK Jr. You'd think by now RFK Jr. would know specifically what's in this thing. Breaking confirmation hearing for Kash Patel has been scheduled for January 29th. That will break the internet. So that's today's Wednesday. Next Wednesday, Kash Patel, his hearing, I'll check and confirm the date, but OMG. That will be explosive. Now this weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they're going to go ahead and try to get some people confirmed. Not Bondi, but Ratcliffe, maybe Pete Hegseth. A couple of people are going to get confirmed this weekend. Let's head back.
All right, before we go, we want to thank President Trump, his administration, for welcoming all of us to the White House just 2 days after taking office. We'll have more of this interview coming up tomorrow. Unfortunately, that is all the time we have left for tonight. In the meantime, let not your heart be troubled. Greg Gutfeld standing by to put a smile on your face. Have a great night.
That's enough, Sean. Thank you very much, but no thank you. So I guess they're going to spread it over 2 days. What a Bush League move. What a Bush League move. All right, so that's all he's got on the interview. I'm looking at something. Somebody said that, let me just see if I can confirm if Kash Patel's hearing before you guys get out of here. I don't see it yet. I'm looking. Okay. Somebody, yes, has confirmed Kash Patel's hearing will be the 29th. It has now been set. It's by, the Senate Judiciary Committee. Yep, it's going to break the internet, people. Get ready. January 29th. Go to bed early on the 28th, that's for sure. So you can get up early at probably 9:15 to watch the Kash Patel hearing. So before you go, let me finish with a couple of videos I got for you.
Trump's election and the likelihood of fewer rate cuts this year from the Fed have been pushing the dollar higher. It's up 5% since the election in November. Can be a headwind for companies earning money in those cheaper foreign currencies now. And the CEOs from JP Morgan and Procter & Gamble are weighing in on that.
What that means is that your economy is strengthening versus others generally. So, it'll bounce around, and of course, tariffs can change the dollar. But the most important thing is growth. Good economic growth is good for the United States. Probably will strengthen the dollar, and so we should be wishing for that.
Them, and it was so many other.
All right, so that was Jamie Dimon. If you're not familiar with Jamie, Citibank or Chase Manhattan, one of those two. He's the head honcho at that bank, big bank. So I think it's Citibank. But anyway, the market's already up 5 points since Trump came in. So that's huge, absolutely huge. Now let's listen to these nuts.
The people, the thing that really I think was spotlighting Snoop is because of the things that Snoop Dogg said 10 days before the inaugural in 2017. And so look, if you opposed and stood up against Trump in 2017, but you were there now, if you spoke up against Trump January 7th, 2021, but you were there now applauding him like a trained SEAL, Donald Trump has not changed. You've changed. Yeah.
Is that a bad thing? Is Anna saying that people can never change? 7 years, and people may see some enlightenment. Their lives may change, but they're. To me, that was as racist as you can possibly say. You're basically saying you can't be black and decide that you want to be for President Trump right now. This show does not have, their lifespan is toast. There is no way ABC can keep these nuts on the air. You're saying that nobody can change. Everybody, whatever you believed in 2017, that's who you are. That's who you have to believe in. That's your mindset. Nothing can change. How small of a mind do you have to say that? And more so, how small of a mind do you have to listen to that spewage?
I oddly agreed with Ilhan Omar on this. I think it's the first time I've agreed with her. I don't come for the artist. It's the same way I felt about Carrie Underwood. I think that people see it as part of American tradition to be part of this. They can issue statements if they want to clarify what their views are on Trump. I don't like coming for the artist. I think if you feel like people need to be boycotting Donald Trump, which I disagree with, I'd go to the politicians. I mean, if Barack Obama can show up for him, why shouldn't Snoop Dogg?
So my question is, if you don't come for the artist, and you guys are all Democrats, then why the hell were you paying all this money out to Oprah and Beyonce and Usher and fill in other R&B guy if it's not about the artist all of a sudden because Trump's getting some of the rappers, Nelly, Snoop, These people make absolutely no sense. And I'm not telling you, I know there's some people in here, I haven't even looked, but I'm telling you what the comments are going to say. I don't trust Snoop. I ain't asking you to trust Snoop. Nobody's asking you to trust Snoop. He came in, he performed at one of the inaugural events, and that's it. He added his cachet to the event. He's not in a cabinet. He's not doing anything. He came out and sang to some track music. You ain't got to trust him. But he does have quite a big following.
What is it that breaks through all of this? You know what that is happening? Where and to that voter that I told you guys about, who likes Trump, but is going to probably not benefit at all from his policies.
I think the hardest part of getting to that voter is not what we say, but reaching that voter.
Yeah.
I think part of it is volume. If you look at Donald Trump's inaugural day, he did 3 inauguration speeches. The real one, the overflow, the rally at night, then a press conference, right? It
was a reality show.
Yeah. And when you are playing a volume game, you need rep after rep after rep to make sure it gets clipped on TikTok.
Yeah.
It gets shared on X. And the algorithms are killing us right now. Like Elon Musk is skewing everything towards the Republican Party.
The algorithms are killing us right now. Elon Musk is skewing everything towards the Republican Party. When you're used to dominating, when you're used to getting things your way, you feel oppressed when equality shows its ugly face. See, 6, 7, whatever how many years ago, we couldn't even talk on X. Boom, we'd get whack-a-mole. We're done. People would get banished, and you weren't ever allowed to speak. They didn't seem to have a problem with the algorithm back then. Oh no, they enjoyed it. They would tell each other, hey, you need to go ahead and ban this guy or ban this woman. I've seen it. My wife was banned off of X or Twitter back then. Had to create a whole new account. They didn't even allow you to speak. But now, because there's a level playing field, they don't like it. They don't like it at all.
So we need to try even harder.
The Erie Pub is a Dorchester landmark. Cops, firefighters, plumbers, and electricians fill these stools. John Stenson's dad bought the place 60 years ago.
They are, first of all, Irish, many of them. Secondly, basically blue-collar workers, union officials, union workers. Your everyday people that make up a neighborhood.
What was the vote split here among your regulars?
Among my regulars, they probably were in favor of Trump. They're probably 60-40.
60-40.
Yeah.
When Trump won 2 precincts in Boston and they were right here, that surprised you?
No, because I'm here every day and I hear the conversation.
What were people talking about?
Oh, well, immigration and cost of living at the top.
Oh, you mean kitchen table issues. The stuff that Democrats completely could not talk about. And now as we're doing some postmortems, and John King decides he's going to go into Beantown and talk to some regular people. You know, people who actually work for a living. People who have to pay taxes and have to buy groceries and have to fill up their gas tank and see newcomers. Now, months after the election, now you're talking to regular people? Man, you guys are twisted. You missed it completely. You missed it completely. And you guys at CNN were trying to ram it down people's faces. So if this gentleman here is saying that people around him were 60-40 in Boston, don't lose that. 60-40 Trump in Boston. I bet you Boston was stolen for the Democrats. I bet you Massachusetts was stolen for the Democrats. Things are much closer than they appear. One of the things Trump's been close-lipped about is the voter ID thing. You gotta believe that's coming because he can see this stuff too and go, wait a minute. So this guy lives here, he owns a bar, and it's in his area it was 60-40. I was 20% higher in Boston? Yeah, we need IDs really bad.
Absolutely the top.
Stellantis Investments returns 1,500 jobs to their Illinois plant. They're going to produce their new mid-size pickup in Illinois, and they're going to build their next-gen Dodge Durango at their Detroit complex.
Yeah, I'd be.
More business. More business. 1,500 more jobs. This company, Stellantis, I thought Dodge owned it. Maybe Stellantis owns Dodge. But the Durango is now going to be built here in America. This is the second day. Second day, people. 2 days.
Interested to know what the next gen Dodge Durango looks like. Is that electrified? Is it a hybrid? Hopefully the latter
we know
for
that the Trump administration
investors in Stellantis.
On EVs.
No, and consumers really not that hot on EVs either.
Very true.
It's interesting to see Olaf Scholz in Germany wants to really push ahead, obviously because they've invested, Volkswagen, Daimler, and BMW so much in electrification. But yeah, this is interesting. You know, they're also pulling their production down from Canada into the U.S., Illinois, Ohio, and Michigan.
What kind of message, Congressman?
I'm sorry. Did you? What'd you say? They're taking their production from Canada and Mexico and moving it into the U.S. Again, as you listen to this, it could become commonplace. You're hearing it so much. Billions, hundreds of billions of dollars are moving into the United States. Yesterday you heard the AI. Today you heard about the prince in Saudi Arabia, the good MBS was his name. 600 billion. The numbers are astounding. 600, 500, 300. The numbers are literally astounding. And the only thing that you have to keep grounded with, the only thing that you have to keep remember as you're seeing headlines with monstrous billions of dollars coming from all the countries he said he's going to beat up on, is that it's day two. Day two. And now you know why I keep saying Democrats are done? Because as people go back to work, as people can afford things better, as business begins to pick up, as investment in America starts happening, and people start prospering, how in the hell are the Democrats ever going to run against that?
Do these pardons and commutations send to law enforcement? You support law enforcement, yet these people who attacked law enforcement on January 6th are now going to be free.
You know, leftists weren't too concerned with it.
Before he starts answering a question, reason why I kept this cut in and a couple other cuts, because you need to see, almost like I'm trying to substantiate to you, why I feel the Democrats can't win. If you're still trying to litigate November 4th, before the election, you just heard a guy in Boston. You just heard that man in Boston. Hey, why'd they go to Trump? Oh, you know, gas prices, food prices, immigration, blah, blah, blah. And you're using your time, CNN, with Jim Acosta and everybody else. You're using all this time to still talk about January 6th. You're completely missing the boat. You can't possibly move forward if you're still focused on January 6th, what was it, 2020. And you just heard a voter on CNN. Yeah, it's 60-40 here. You're losing the constituents. Nobody wants your message, and instead of addressing that, you want to talk about January 6th.
Tax and law enforcement, when we saw them getting cold-cocked on New York streets, cities during BLM riots a couple of years ago. If you're going to be upset with one, you got to be upset with the other. We call that what? Hypocrisy. Right now, we're focused on moving forward and not making the same mistakes of the past, and that's what we're going to be doing right here.
Let me just press you, Congressman. Was President Trump right in commuting the sentences of these rioters who wound up with bats and with sticks and beat police officers, some of whom were very seriously injured, and a few...
Why don't you show it? Show it, Wolf. But then again, don't show it. Nobody cares. I guarantee you're going to have one of your lowest rated shows, which is saying something, because you're just hammering this January 6th shit. It's over. It's game over. It doesn't matter. It's not going to hurt Trump. You want to know why it's not going to hurt Trump? Because he ran on it. Hey, if I get elected, I'm going to let all these people out. Oh, promises made, promises kept. That's what he did. You guys are trying to relitigate something when you don't realize Trump said this for a year. When I get in office, I'm going to let all these people out. I'm going to get, pardon them. Kept saying it over and over. I know because I covered the rallies. So he made the promise. He kept the promise. What do you think people like Kim Wargo and others are thinking right now? Yeah, that's my president. Yet you're still trying to put people back in jail.
Actually died. Wolf, were the BLM rioters right when they went across the country and burned?
I'm asking you about what happened on January 6th. I'm not asking about Black Lives Matter. I'm asking about January 6th, Congress.
And see, and this is a part of your problem. The part of the reason that people feel so disconnected from pundits and politicians is because you don't understand where people are coming from. People see chaos all over the country, and they're seeing where one part gets punished and the other part doesn't. The fact of the matter is there are people who are truly hurting out there. They don't see what's going on, and President Trump is doing his best to move our country forward, unlike what President Biden did. And so we're moving our country forward, and we're focused on the future. I support our police. There's no excuse for hurting police officers. I applaud our law enforcement officers, but we need to move forward in the future and make sure that never happens again.
So one thing
he owned him. And Wolf was pissed. I was surprised. Why do you look so angry? What is it? And who put you guys out to this to say, talk about January 6th, talk about January 6th, talk about it all day? Is it your audience? Is your audience so fixated on January 6th and these people getting out of jail? I mean, essentially, a pardon, somewhat like a parole. How long would you want them to stay in jail forever? What is it? Whatever you're thinking, it ain't it. It ain't it.
Wanted to say, getting back to the Democrats' disregard, you have to be careful to not fall for the okie doke, for every little thing that he throws out there. Because like Bill said, there's certain things that he's doing just for pomp and circumstance to make it look good. And he knows he's not going to necessarily get it done. But that doesn't stop them from overreacting to it. And if you overreact to it and use every little soundbite that he throws out there, or every little insignificant act that you know he's not going to be able to push through.
I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. Maybe you do. But what are the insignificant things that he's just saying to say that he's never going to be able to push through? The whole thing about the DEI, he pushed it through. They're fired. Which part of this can he not do? The birthright thing? He may not be able to do the birthright thing, but it's not going to be up to him to decide. It's going to the Supreme Court. So, he's doing what his part is. I'm going to go ahead and say there's no birthright citizenship. You guys are going to sue. You're going to take this through the appellate courts, district courts, and then go to the Supreme Court, and you're going to try and get someone to say, adjudicate what this is. But you don't think Trump was serious when he made that executive order? You think he just put it out there for the hell of it? You don't know Trump. You're hanging around LeBron and too many athletes, because I'm pretty sure the stuff that he's signing with his name, he flipping means. And if you want to stop him, well, you're going to need the 9 people up on the Supreme Court to stop him.
You react to that, you're reminding Americans of why they voted against you in the 2024 election. You cannot do that. If it's something substantive that's a real threat in your eyes that you feel he can push through, react to that. Make it real. But when it's something that you know is going to amount to nothing, why engage him in that? Because you're falling right into his trap when he...
Bill O'Reilly, I don't know if he in this clip, but the question would be, how do you know what he's playing? You're assuming this man is playing. I would not want to play poker at the stakes, at the level he's doing right now. Because you look stupid. That is the most stupid thing I think I've heard from Stephen A. Smith, and that's after a long line of stupid stuff. Oh, he's just playing. He knows that ain't going to work. Really? You don't think he's contemplated for 4 years every move that he wants to make when he gets reelected? That's because you didn't follow him at every rally. You and I, we all heard it. We know what was coming. You the ones who probably think he wasn't serious. Now you're finding out he's serious? Yeah, get your asses back to work. Oh, you're fired. You're fired. All kinds of stuff. So yeah, the lawsuits are coming. He knows the lawsuits are coming. doesn't mean he's not serious.
Does that because he has proven in terms of headlines, in terms of sizzle, in terms of sparking a conversation and creating provocative dialogue, he has proven to be an absolute master at that to his advantage more so than theirs. They have to make sure that doesn't happen to them.
Let's overturn the Constitution to do his evil and wrongness.
Let's put some stuff up here. He was very excited about the end diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives in the federal government. What's the impact?
Yeah, so that's obviously very bad. It's particularly evil to. I always think of prisoners, people who are incarcerated who have changed, who have transitioned. According to this, you're going to take trans.
How do you take this guy seriously? I can't get past the optics of either one of them to take their argument seriously.
Women and put them in male prisons. What do we think is going to happen to them there?
Yeah.
That's not going to be a good day.
Yeah.
So I think that this is a thing that has real impact. There's also a real obvious equal protection challenge. And so again, Trump will do this. He will be sued. This is one of the ones that could be, if not completely stopped, delayed, but there will be people who suffer unconscionable pain because of what he's doing, and not in the kind of like, somebody just called Gracie George. No. These are people who are going to be hurt and physically assaulted because of Trump's executive order.
Two of the renamings, we were talking about it in the break, rename Mount Denali back to Mount McKinley, just as it's not.
So I have a question. Fuzzy head guy. What do you think the January 6ers went through for the last 3 or 4 years? Did they go through pain because of, some stuff that Biden went through? Do you think that they, physical and psychological pain, you don't care about that though. You care about Susie having to go back to being Stan. Stan decided he was Susie, and now Susie is going to have to go back to being Stan. Because whatever, may have to go back and go to the prison that they're supposed to be in. It's confusing. It is insanely confusing. So, if Susie has to go back to being Stan and go to the right prison, and if he's subject to injury, why is Susie or Stan in jail? Back it up. You see, the Democrats never want to talk about that. Why is Susie in jail? When Stan decided he wanted to become Susie, why is he in jail? And when did jail become a country club? So if you look at every individual case, here's a guy who did X, Y, and Z. You got 20 years. Well, I've decided to be Susie, so you got to put me in a woman's prison. And you got to pay for, my junk being lopped off. And so we're paying for it. And he goes over there. And Trump comes back and goes, nope, that ain't going to work. Put him back over in the guy's side. And they're complaining about it, but they're never asking the question, why is he even there? Did the guy commit murder? Did the guy, do bad things? Why is he there? Because it's not meant to be a country club. It's not meant to be, some bar where you're hanging out and you can just watch RuPaul's show all day long. You're in there in prison. It's not a nice experience. Has anyone forgot that? These people are in jail. There are people who are in regular jail who experience pain. There are people in regular jail who experience getting beat up and injuries. Why are we looking the other way? Why should we look at the other way? Because Susie has to go back to being Stan. Because you're forgetting why they're even there. And that's one of the problems with the Democrats, is that they overlook the actual important part of the thing. They've decided it doesn't matter if he's there for bank robbery or stabbing people, or he's now Susie. That's what's most important. No, it's not. What's most important is why this person's in prison, and do they deserve all of these accommodations like they're going to, Hotel Coochie. You're in federal flipping prison. do your time, and shut up. Period. I'm not here to accommodate you because one day you got up and said, you know what, I've been watching RuPaul's show every week and I'd like to get fancy. Not my problem. Do your time. Because that's exactly what you wanted for the January 6ers. So now, Susie, Stan, whatever, deal with it. That's how I feel. I'm sorry. Is that too strong? Nothing but craziness about to be straightened out. Yeah, exactly. Send them to a prison in the middle of the ocean just for them. Now, I don't know if you guys have been following at all. Miss Catherine Herridge used to be with Fox. There's something going on at Gitmo. And she's down there filming some stuff, and they're building new courtrooms and spending millions, tens of millions of doing all these things at Gitmo in complete secrecy. And now Trump is the president. So I don't know what's going on at Gitmo, but if you want to go look at some of Catherine Herridge's reports that she's been filing, something big is going to happen at Gitmo. Something really, really big. You want to follow up with that, go ahead and do that. What about the real women that are assaulted by the men that say they are women in jail? I've seen a lot of, they don't talk about the, notice the two of them. That's why I filmed it. I'm like, you're talking about the pain and suffering that the criminal has to endure. And I'm supposed to worry about that. I'm supposed to worry that, because he wanted to wear a dress and now he's got to go back to wear, too confusing. Guy looks like an ear swab. Q-tip guy. Oh man, it's absolutely crazy. Like I've been telling you, they got nothing. Do you think regular people watch that and go, what? Why am I watching this? Think about it. If somebody regular stumbled upon MSNBC, could you even understand what the hell they were talking about? It never dawned on them that this person is in prison. He's not in a dorm. He's not in a club. He's in prison. Just gonna say. All right, it's getting late. I haven't eaten yet. Oh, I'm hungry. All right, let's go ahead and give away some hoodies and get you guys out of here. I don't get it. I just really don't get these people. They make absolutely no sense. And the more that you watch and listen to things that these people say, then the more you understand that they don't have a prayer. There's no leader. The media sucks. And there's nothing going on. It's pathetic. I guess that's a word I would use. Absolutely pathetic. All right, so let me move this over here because it's hoodie time. Hoodie time. Let me close this comment. Hoodie time. And let me roll. Where's the drum roll? There's the drum roll. Let's hit the beat. And the winner is Robert Blaylock. First winner is Robert Blaylock. Let's see who we got for number two. Number two, oops, I forgot the drum roll. Lynn. I think there was last week her name was Lisa. And I didn't realize how to find this person, but then I realized we can find them because if they only put Lynn in their the field for the name, I just look for a Lynn with no last name. But it just cracks me up. Lynn, what's your name? Lynn what? But anyway, Ashley will look you up and we'll get a hold of you to get your size and address and those kind of things because, damn, would love to know. All right, back to the third drawing of the day. There's the drum roll, and it goes to Lynn. Another Lynn. 2 Lynns in a row. Hopefully it's not the same Lynn twice. We'll have to figure that out, Ashley, to make sure it's not the same Lynn. All right, everybody. Let me go to the super chats. That's just too funny. Lynn and Lynn. Watch them be the same person. But these hoodies are nice and warm, so you guys will like that. Very warm. All right. Thomas Armento, remember the video of General McCurney at the White House talking about Pelosi's laptop and hammer and scorecard? Think we'll hear about it again? Probably not, but maybe. Joy Kirkland, I don't agree with their lifestyles and they don't pay my bills, so that's between them and God. But if Transformers want to play sports, they need to start their own league. I'm good with that. I am so good with that. Steve Lekomsky, Obama had 8 confirmed on his first day in office. And he's talking about the cabinet, obviously. The Democrats playing games. Sheila Townsend, God bless you, Barry. Thank you very much. Beverly Litton, unfortunately, I guess some still believe in CNN. I don't know how they do that. Cindy Duff, there was an ICE agent shot in Braintree, Massachusetts. Also, state police, an ICE agent arrested on illegal on Route 20 in Charleston, Massachusetts. Yeah, pray for these guys. Seriously, pray for these guys because things are going to get crazy. Absolutely crazy. Retro Bill, hilarious to watch Dems turn into conspiracy theorists at the drop of a hat after accusing us of the same thing for years. Yep. Thank you, George, very much. I'm legally blind. My vision is 1700/20 in both my eyes. It helps me to write in all capitals, sending and also receiving to Brother Barry, my dearly beloved brother. Thank you very much. And, I would turn on closed captions, but there's something, I don't know what YouTube doesn't allow them with the live broadcast. Beverly Litton, wonder what happened, ended to the background music for Carrie. Maybe sabotage, but she did it like a trooper, didn't she? Just said, I'm going to sing it. I got it like that. I'm glad she remembered the words, but yeah. Del Hole, thank you and your crew. Thank you. Y'all awesome. Del Hole, a couple times here. Try not to hate on Hannity too much. They've been friends for a long time. You kind of have to interrupt. The Trump weave can go long and far if you don't. Yes, I understand that. If you don't, he will take over. Let Hillary go through it the hard way too. Yeah. I agree. I definitely agree. Del Ho again. If they can prove 2020 was rigged, then will it null and void Biden as a president, rescind all that he did, even the pardons and commutations? Are they going to open that? Are they going to open that Pandora's box? I don't even think they're gonna. I don't think they're gonna go backwards. I think they're all gonna go forwards and just make sure it doesn't ever happen again. I.e., voter ID. Judy Leslie, Del Hole. She said her vet son to God. Yeah, you think you're talking about Patriot Mom? Her son was a veteran of a Marine, I believe, and he got arrested too. But it looks like he got his pardon. 14th, don't cover invading forces kids born to be citizens. If labeled correctly, newcomer kids won't be citizens. That's going to be one hell of a lawsuit. And they are going to go absolutely bat poop crazy if they don't have that. I'm a right one. Hi, Barry. Thanks for everything you've done to help bring sanity back to our country. Later, please read the email I sent to you. I will definitely do so. Let me see. Did I click on here? Yeah. Tania P. Barry, they waited till Trump was in office to get those guys from the Mexican mafia, and they knew Biden would let them out of jail in about 2 days. Yeah, they had to have been watching. They had to know where those 39 guys were. And it sends a huge, huge message. James Kipp, Smudge My Chihuahua, is having surgery tomorrow. Oh, well, God bless you. Hope he pulls through. This one here is being a slug. He just lays there upside down looking at me. Beverly Litton, I hope Hannity doesn't take up all the time with his elaborate dialogue. Yeah, he can do that. China S, Chris S, would rather give you 15,000 views as you give Fox 1. Thank you. Joy Kirkland, Biden did say welcome home. I heard it myself when I was watching it live. Thank you, Barry, Robin, and Ashley, and all the mods. Yeah, I thought I heard it too. Del Hole, a couple more here. 1 Timothy 2:12 and 1 Corinthians 14. I have to look those up. In fact, let me copy that so I can go look those up. I don't have the Bible memorized. I'm not there yet. But hold on, let me just copy that so I have it. But thank you very much. Fume drummer, hundreds of billions in tech investments means we need new tech workers. Colleges better get off the woke and into computer science programming, otherwise H-1B visas galore. You know, a lot of people were upset about the whole H-1B visa. And the easiest way to beat the H-1B visa is what you just said. Get ready. In your spare time, start learning this stuff. Become marketable. I know it's late. I know it's behind the 8 ball, but see what you can do. Where'd that go? Went to the next page. Hold on. Yeah, I mean, you can try. You can start. Trump has done more in 2 days than the Dems have in the last 2 presidents. Term limits for everyone, no jobs after, no stock trading. Serve the people, not run over them. I completely agree with that. Betty Stokes, thank you for being our news station, someone we can trust. Thank you very much. Thank you for staying late in some of these shows. Thank you for coming out early. Neela Presta, thank you, Barry. And Beverly Litton, the end justify the means. And Jabs, Miriam Edger Buddy, that's that Bishop S. Said children, I have to be careful with the words here. This is why we voted for children. Save them. Yes, I completely agree with you. Michael Nash, you rock, Barry, thank you so very much. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. My night was made when I heard Patriot Mom. Everything was done. Good for her. Fume drummer, 14th was meant to keep the slave states from trying to deport former slave families. That's a good case Trump can make. Neo, love that Trump is back whipping fake media. Thanks, Barry, for sharing great news and content. Thank you. Thomas Armento, remember the video of General McHenry at the White House talking about Pelosi's laptop? Yep, we talked about that. All right, so tomorrow, Ashley had sent me a note. Looks like Trump is going to be giving a speech at 11. I'm not sure. I need to confirm that. But then besides that, he's talking to Davos. And then I've got 2 interviews tomorrow that I can share with you. So I'm not really sure what time. I will, however, post whatever we're doing at least an hour or so in advance. So I post it on X. So if you want to join our fanfareshop.org/group, we're about 13,600 right now, 13,600. Would love to have you there. And if you'd like to enter to win a hoodie, go to fanfareshop.org and just quick form to fill out, and you could possibly win. All right, that's all I got for you tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Trump didn't really break any news. Hannity's questions, they're okay, but he should have been more probing to get some information. I mean, if I was interviewing him, unless they told him, stay topical. And it's possible, Trump said, just keep it up here. Don't go deep. It's possible. We don't know. All right, talk to you guys tomorrow. Thank you for tuning in tonight.